What's going on, backpackers? Dave here with Off Grid. I'm into backpacking, hiking, camping, and gear, and let's do this. I've got my ultra lightweight loadout to share with you guys today. And if you saw my last loadout, as a budget loadout, it took way too long. So I'm going to try to condense this one down super quickly. So let's do it. Let's talk about my ultra lightweight loadout, and it is just a shade under 10 pounds. And I'm also going to show you how to save about $229 off of this loadout. Now I got a couple of quick tips here before I jump into all the items and kind of rifle through them. But the first one that I want to tell you about is that this is obviously for a summer lightweight loadout only. Most of the UL loadouts are only for summer and the warmer months. I'm going to also mention that this one is going to be sort of like a hybrid, so it was built not only for being lightweight, but also kind of built for comfort while you're either on the trail, and then also when you're at camp. And when you see the items on here, you're going to know what I mean. And then the next thing that I want to mention here is that there are some options that you might find that were omitted. I'm going to have a couple of different links here. There's going to be, and that's going to be down in the description below. There's going to be one for my lighter pack link, so that you can see all the different gear items and their weights. And then I'm also going to share an sort of like a Google sheet, so that you can see kind of my price breakdown for all the items for today's list. A couple more points about the savings. Again, it's about $229 worth of savings that you can hope to find. It's not necessarily guaranteed. So let's just dive right into all of the options that I have here for you guys today. And I'm just going to go pretty much just straight down the lighter pack here. I'm going to start off with the backpack. No particular order. I'm not going to do like the big three first or whatever. I'm just going to kind of like go right down my list. But the first item that I have for you is the backpack, and I'm going to go with the Zpacks Nero 38 liter. And if you know me, I'm not a huge fan of Zpacks products. I've kind of dissed their tents before, but the backpack's actually not that bad. It doesn't have load lifters, and it doesn't have a padded hip belt to shift the weight down to your hips. It just has like a 1-inch hip belt, which is going to come in handy for these other two accessories I'm going to mention and that I'm going to recommend you picking up. One of which is going to be a couple of their side pockets, and the side pockets actually have pads in them as well, so it's not going to feel like the pocket's just kind of like riding on your hip. And then the next thing I'm going to recommend is going to be their shoulder strap accessories. So they have a 1-liter water bottle pocket that you can purchase, and then they also have another like drawstring pocket with a mesh front, so that you can put stuff like your cell phone, chapstick, hand sanitizer, things like that in there. The next thing that I'm going to go down to, because there's a lot that are kind of just flagged as optional here that I omitted. Next thing I'm going to mention is going to be part of the big three again. It's going to be your sleeping pad. So I went with the Sea to Summit Etherlight XT, not insulated. I am still kind of testing that one out to see if it's comfortable enough. I've had some good nights and some bad nights on it. I was going to recommend the Nemo Tensor uninsulated pad, but ever since they went with their new technology, the prices have gone up. So believe it or not, you can find the Sea to Summit just a little bit cheaper. So I'm going to recommend that one. And also because it has a tapered design, which I'm going to mention when I'm going to talk about my tent real quick. The next thing I'm going to mention is going to be your Nylofume pack liner. Ultra lightweight, just keeps the things that you want in your pack dry. So I definitely recommend one of those. So the next item that I'm going to mention is going to be for your tent, and it's not going to be Zpacks. Although if you have a ton of money and you want to blow on it, that's definitely one of the lightest options you can go with. But I'm going to recommend Gossamer Gear's The One, mostly because it's a sil poly. It does great in wet weather conditions. It's definitely going to have condensation on the inside because it's a non-freestanding tent and a single wall. But all in with the stakes, you're looking at just a shade over 23 ounces. But if you don't use all the stakes and the extra guy line cord, I got that down to about 21.5 ounces. So ultra lightweight option, really cool. The next item that I'm going to mention is going to be your pillow, and it's not going to be this one. This is the Trekology 2.0 pillow. On one of my recent videos, I had a lot of people mention that this is one of their favorite pieces of gear for their pillow. It comes with a strap that you can kind of wrap around your pad. So I figured I'd give it a run for its money. I got this one on sale, tried it for the first time last night at home in my normal bed, and just threw it to the ground. I don't really understand what the inflatable game is all about, so I manipulated the list here, and I'm going to still go with the Thermarest small compressible pillow as the option for you guys today. The next item is going to be the quilt. Now, There are definitely budget options for this one, but I ended up going with the Enlightened Equipment Revelation. As part of their garage sale, I was able to find a 50-degree quilt which had a small defect in it for a decent amount of money, and is also ultra lightweight. Again, 50 degrees is going to get you only into the summer weather, but it'll definitely get you out there, and you'll be prepared out there. The one thing that you're going to want to know about this one is that it's going to have a zippered foot box, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later on. The next thing that I'm going to mention here is going backwards to the tent, because I said I was going to mention why I got the tapered design for the Sea to Summit pad, and that is because the Gossamer gear, the one tent, has a tapered design. It's not fully rectangular when you're in there, so having a tapered mummy style pad is going to do you a little bit better in this particular scenario. I've got the wide pad, but it just tapers down, so you still have enough width for your shoulders, but just be aware that the tent floor ends up tapering a little bit. Let's get into the only article of clothing that I'm going to recommend. It's going to be the Senchi Wren hoodie. This is a special shout out to my buddy Andy over at Metro on the Move. He kind of tipped me off on this one. It is an ultra lightweight, sort of like a summer hoodie. When you look at the thing, it sort of looks like Swiss cheese. You can kind of see through it, but it does a decent job at insulating just a little bit, and the overall weight for a large is somewhere around 4 ounces or just under, which I got, so pretty awesome. So I can't wait to try that one out in the field. The next thing that I'm going to recommend is going to be your stove kit. Not a lot that's going to be new here, so I'm going to breeze through this real quickly. I'm going to recommend 2 mini Bic lighters, a single piece of hot lip so you don't burn your mouth on your pot. I'm going to recommend the BRS 3000 stove, the tried and true, and then also the Toaks 650 milliliter instead of the 550 milliliter, mostly because everybody that I've seen use the 550. Yes, you can put 2 cups of water in it, but it's going to end up boiling over, right? So the 650 just gives you that little bit extra space so that stuff's not boiling all over when it's ready to go. The other stuff that's in here, I'm just gonna kind of breeze through. You have, like, you know, if you want to bring napkins, food items, stuff like that, but what's more important is going to be the stuff that you're going to put it all in, and that is going to be the Hilltop Packs large food bag. You can either get Dyneema, you can get Ultra. Either way, it's going to be a similar weight. Get the flat bottom. You'll thank me later. And the next item I'm going to mention is going to be a small toothbrush. This is a foldable one by Gum, but you can get whatever you want. You're also going to throw your compressible towels. They come in like these little tubes. They look like sort of like the M&M minis from back in the day, but you may have heard of them as Wissy wipes. They're basically just dehydrated wipes, so you're going to throw a tube of that in there. You've got, for your toothpaste, I'm going to go with the Unpaste Tabs. They're becoming a lot more popular because they're super light and you can just take however many that you need. I'm also going to throw in the Toaks Titanium long handle, either spoon or spork, but definitely make sure that you get the polished bowl on that one. And that's pretty much it for all the food bag and stove kit. Let's get over into your electronics now. And the first one I'm going to mention is going to be, obviously, you know, like a car key. If you're going on a trip, you got to pack a car key. I'm getting an all-inclusive list here, folks. I'm not going to omit anything. You're also going to want to throw in a Swiss Army micro SD, super ultra light and great utility overall tool, multitude of tools when you're out there. Don't forget to pack things like a driver's license, some extra cash, maybe an ID with you. I also have in here a 50-foot line of bear cord with a Reflectix on it so that you can hang up your bear bag at night. A small roll of tenacious tape. I'm going to go with earplugs in case it's a little loud for you at night. And then for your power bank, I'm going to recommend a small 5,000 milliamp power bank. This list is more catered towards sort of like either an overnighter or just a couple days out on trail, so not that much juice there. Don't forget your charging cables, whatever you need there. Let's move into, I call like the bath section or the toiletries kind of section. Not a lot here either. I'm going to recommend a small microfiber face towel, and it's also going to be the towel to kind of like wipe out your pot. I actually would recommend putting the BRS stove and kind of wrapping it in this towel and putting it inside your cook kit so it's not rattling around or scratching the inside of your pot. The next item is going to be another tube of compressible towels. One of them is going to be kind of like just for around camp. The other one's going to, and then kind of like as a wipey shower. And then the other one is for, you know, sort of like your poop kit. Even though it's not directly in the poop kit here, I put things in different areas for different reasons. And the last item here is just like Ziploc bags for your ditties, your toiletries, electronic organizer. I just use a quart size for all those. Very ultralight and pretty durable, lasts a decent amount of time. The next section is going to be kind of like in the outer compartment here. I've got the water filtration kit, and that's going to be a Sawyer Mini. It comes with a back plunger, and it also comes with an extra dirty water bag, which I'm going to recommend here. It's not the best option. I really like the Knock Vecto here, but in order to get it under 10 pounds, that was one of the items that had to go. So that's going to be your dirty water bag. If you really want, you can cut down a ½ liter water bottle and use that as kind of like a scoop to put it in there, since you don't have the wide opening of the Knock Vecto. And then I'm also going to recommend Aqua Tabs as kind of like a backup. You can use the Aqua Mira drops, but I would definitely recommend more like the tabs, because those are going to be even lighter. I'm also going to recommend, as far as like first aid and stuff like that on trail, the Adventure Medical Kit 0.5. It comes in at about 4 ounces, but I think you're not going to need everything in there, so I shaved that down to about 3 ounces. I got some monkey bud in there, some afterbite in there that I recommend, just to kind of like round that out for easy patches on the trail. Here's something that you might not find in an ultra lightweight loadout. I'm going to recommend for you fellas out there a pee bottle, something that you don't have to get up in the middle of the night in order to go outside and use the facilities, so to speak. So a pee bottle is going to be in there. I'm going to recommend one Swedish Shammie for kind of like wiping down that interior condensation that's bound to happen at night. And then another item in here that you're not going to find in a lot of other lists is going to be a set of water socks. This is going to be primarily for two reasons, really. One, for water crossings. Take off your normal trail runners and your socks, and then put on these, and you don't have to get your normal stuff wet, and your feet won't be wet all day long. And then if you don't have that many water crossings, or if it's a hot day and you do have a water crossing, that can kind of end up drying out, and then you can get to camp and have a camp shoe. So there you go, camp shoes as well. For your poop kit, I've got, again, those compressible towels that were in that other bag. I'm going to mention the trowel, and that's pretty much it. That's all I have, aside from a bottle of hand sanitizer, which I'm going to mention in a second. But the trowel that I'm going to recommend is going to be the Vargo Dig Dig. The deuce of spades and pretty much any other trowel is not worth it. You need something with serrated edges on the side to kind of cut through those small roots. Try the deuce of spades out in the field, doesn't work, so I'm moving on to the Vargo Dig Dig. Into the hip pockets we go, and the first one I'm going to mention is going to be a bug head net. I'm also going to say let's throw in some picaridin wipes in there for bug protection at night. I have a small bottle of sunscreen. It's a sun stick. It's not a bottle. It's not lotion. And then I also have the smallest bottle that you can find for body glides, for like anti-chafing. And what else? Anything else in that one? I got a small travel pack of Kleenex tissues if you want some tissues. If you don't need it, then you don't have to pack that. And then also in my hip pockets, I'm going to put my headlamp. I'm going to recommend actually the Sunblesa Headlamp because it's ultra lightweight, and it comes in just a little bit cheaper than the Nycor NU25. The next area is going to be your shoulder pocket. And in there I just have, again, that small bottle of hand sanitizer, about a ½ ounce for that. And then I put my cell phone up in that pocket as well. Again, it really depends on the weight of your cell phone. I have a little bit heavier of an option, but you might have something that might be a little bit lighter. So I put the average somewhere around 6 ounces, kind of just guessing there. It really depends, again, on which one you have. And then I throw some chapstick in that pocket as well. In the, or I should say, hanging off of the shoulder straps, next I have a pack towel, which is just a really small one that you can use to kind of wipe your sweat from REI, that I really like and is ultra light, obviously. And then the next one is going to be my recommendation for a satellite device, and that's going to be the Garmin Inreach Mini. That's one of the ones that I got a pretty good deal on and got about $100 off on, so you got to be on the lookout for sales on that one. And for the back panel, I'm going to recommend the 1/8" foam pad from Outdoor Vitals. It's pretty wide, it's pretty long, and you can kind of like stack a lot of different stuff on it when you're out in the field, so it definitely comes in handy. And the last items that I'm going to have to recommend to you guys today are going to be stuff that I'm going to put in my side pockets off to the left and right. The first of which I'm going to recommend is going to be Bear Mace. Again, this is another one that's not going to be in a lot of people's loadout videos, but I'm always going to prioritize safety for you guys here on this channel, so Bear Mace is going in there. Another one I'm going to recommend is going to be a couple of the smart water bottles. One is going to be the 1 liter size, and the other one is going to be a ½ liter size, and that's for a couple of different reasons. One, because you also have the additional dirty water liter bag, so this is a 2.5 liter capacity, which is fairly decent for those dry carries. And then also because 1 liter sitting on your shoulder is kind of obnoxiously large, so having a ½ liter just on your shoulder pocket is a little bit better for that. And the last item here, kind of saved the crown jewel for last for you guys here, and another item that you're most definitely not going to find most likely in any UL loadout, and that is going to be a stool, basically like a camp chair. Here I ended up going with the Hilltop BTR Stool. It's a 12-ounce option. It has telescoping legs that kind of like fold in, and it's really easy to set up and then pack away. So even if you're on trail and you want to take a break, whereas before you'd probably grab your back panel, that 1/8-inch foam pad or some sort of sit pad, here it's really easy to just grab that stool, unfurl it, and just like take a seat. It doesn't have a back, so it's not going to be as comfortable, but there you go. That's the last option that I have for you, and that's a stool. So all this stuff right here, guys, comes in at a shade under 10 pounds, and the total as far as like the amount spent I have at just under $1,600. Again, this is, I think, a very reasonably priced list, and that's going to do it for my UL loadout. So not as long this time. Whew, I tried to go through this as quickly as possible, and I think I did a decent job, hopefully. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of this loadout, and if you'd be willing to give it a try, because this is actually something that I'm looking to round out my ultra lightweight kit, so I would definitely love to get this one going. But that's it for me this week, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, if you headed off grid, make sure you do your research and you make it a safe one. I'll see you on the next one. We go parkside. Let's see if we can make it happen and get this video out very quickly. I'm going to scratch that last one because that's too many way too quickly. So the next item I'm going to mention is going, I can't talk. The next item